URC folks, I think it was round 13 we just had. Make-up games round 6 for next week. I've gone ahead and watched 3 of these games from Europe over the weekend. None of the South African teams in action this weekend, but we should see them in the make-up games, well, this week. But yeah, we'll go through some key events, some stats, how the standings are looking, and you guys can let me know your thoughts. I do want to give a quick shout out to my man Cliff, who got in touch regarding the old URC viewing, and he essentially signed up to my Patreon, so I duly signed up to the URC TV service, so I can more easily watch the URC. So appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much. It's nice to have a wee bit of freedom in picking and choosing the games to watch. But yeah, the first one, goodness gracious me, that scoreline blew out rather handedly between Edinburgh and Connacht. I watched this one thinking it might be a close one because I figured Ulster at home would probably give Cardiff a hiding. I thought Connacht away to Edinburgh might be a bit closer. And I thought I was going to be right because Connacht went out to a lead, 8-0. And then Edinburgh just went ahead and scored 56 unanswered points. That's quite a scoreline. I mean, the commentators in that one were kind of going on about how Connacht's got the worst defence in the URC. I think you got to put into context they're in the Irish conference. They play the top teams in that, Leinster's first and Munster's third, and Ulster I think is second. They play these teams more than anybody else, so that needs a little bit of context there. But Connacht's defence didn't look that great. And after they were 8-0 up. So they did score that further. All the game was down Edinburgh's end early. Carty with that nice wide ball for the try for Sullivan. But then it's just all Edinburgh. It absolutely goes to custard for Connacht. I mean, Kinghorn, he scores one on 42, but he sets one up. With a nice line break and an offload, that kind of got Edinburgh back in the game. Immelman scored a couple. He went through a big gap to put Edinburgh in front, 14-8. Dave Cherry got one. I think it was it his 50th game? It was a big cap for him. Anyway, I remember it was one of the ones you celebrate. He went over from a maul to make it 21-8. Second half end of the first half where Kinghorn got his, so yeah, Edinburgh were just running riot. Mojano got over the line, Immelman got over the line, Velicott did. It was just a rout by the end of the game. So yeah, it was. Chris Dean with the cutout past Immelman was pretty sweet, but yeah. But if a comeback, 8-0 down's not dead and buried clearly, but goodness me, 56-8 is. Possession 65-35, territory 54-46 to Edinburgh, obviously. Edinburgh's second half possession 78%. Yeah, man, Connacht weren't really at the races in that second half. Double the run meter, 605 almost to 312. Penalties conceded 15-7 with Connacht copping double. Clean breaks 9-3, man. So Kinghorn has 94 run meters. Immelman has 99 run meters. They both have a couple defenders beaten. Immelman's got a couple of clean breaks. The lock, Dowling, has 20 out of 21 tackles for Connacht. But other than that, there wasn't a lot to write home about. Edinburgh are 7 wins, 4 losses, and a draw in 5th. And Connacht are 6 wins, 7 losses in 7th. So, that's where they're standing at the minute. The next game, Ulster and Cardiff, I'm pretty sure that was either on at the same time, but it was at least on at the same day. I didn't watch that live. I didn't even watch the full game, but I did catch up on the highlights. It's another one that's a bit of a rout, but it was glorious seeing Robert Bellacoon just absolutely flying. The guy gets 2 tries, and man, that guy can move. He doesn't look that quick, eh? He's lightning quick. And he's agile for a big lanky fella. I'm a 6 foot plus guy myself, so I know sometimes tall guys when they run don't always look the most gainly. They look ungainly. Is gainly a thing? But that's a car in the distance. He doesn't look like he's flying, but he's flying and he's agile. He takes the kick through for his first try really well. It's a great swerving run. So, yeah, man, pretty much from there, it just gets real messy for Cardiff. They get a yellow card. They're down 10-0. I mean, Hume gets an intercept. He gets a ton of run meters, partly because of that intercept. So he goes off one. His midfield partner, McCloskey, gets one. Timoney gets one, and that guy's work rate continues to impress because he's always one of the top meter guys for the forwards, and he's always one of the top tacklers as well. Sexton, they've got a Sexton on their team. I don't remember seeing him play before, but I probably have. Maybe not. And Stewart gets one as well. I mean, at least Cardiff got a couple of tries on the board. Myhill and Raddy got on the board, so yeah, but ultimately it wasn't a great day at the office. But if you watched it, you can at least appreciate Ballacoon. He's just in open space. Really, really fun guy to watch. Maybe not if you're a Cardiff fan, but apart from that, I mean, they were denied another try at the death. I mean, Cardiff's one you thought was going to be the consolation try at the death, but Ulster had one pinged off right at the death through the TMO. But yeah, 575 to 372 is the run meters. Clean breaks is 7-6, so that's pretty tight. Defenders beaten though 26-16, so Ulster get that. Penalty count's pretty low, 7 apiece. So both sides, in a strange way, if you're a Cardiff point of view, you'll be happy at least you only conceded 7 penalties. That's a manageable number. But yeah, nothing much else going right. Hume, 153 run meters. Timoney, 8 defenders beaten, 72 run meters. Both of them 10 from 10 tackles, so good on him. I mean, Cardiff are 4-4 on their record. I think they must have played the fewest games of anybody. They've had such a disrupted season. They're in 13th, but remember they got games in hand. Ulster are 9-3. They are in second, and yeah, looking the business. The next game, Benetton and Leinster. I watched this. I feel like somebody commented on one of the other videos this was going to be a good game, so I watched it. And I mean, it was a good game if you're a Leinster fan. I mean, 61-17. It's another absolute blowout, isn't it? Like, it's great fun to see all these guys scoring tries. Not a lot of tension by, I don't know, like the 30th minute. Yeah, Leinster absolutely put the Benetton team, albeit without many of their Italian internationals, to the sword. I mean, I was surprised to see Halafihi there, to be honest, because he got a red card in his last game. I don't know how the bans work, but that was the international level anyway. But I mean, it was all Leinster early. Benetton's defence was holding for about 5 minutes, and then the cracks started to show. Deegan got one on 6 minutes. Benetton did get a settler, like to calm things down a bit, in the form of a penalty to make it 7-3. But then Leinster's maul through Cronin, who can't get anywhere near the Irish squad, is just crazy. That's how much depth you guys have got. I mean, he gets one. How many tries do they get through mauls in this game? It's like 3. Cronin gets 2. I mean, Lama gets one. He's got wheels as per usual. Ross Byrne gets one. Tracy gets a couple. I think it's Jimmy O'Brien, right? Gets a couple as well. Like, I mean, they did get 2. Canone and Piantella. Yeah, those 2 fellas. Good to see some tall timber get over the line, but I mean, there wasn't a lot to like about this one if you're a Benetton fan. I guess just the fact that you can take solace from your team is missing half the Italian squad, if not a bit more. But I mean, yeah, it was... Benetton started to look a bit better at the start of the second half. Probably until the point where Cronin went over for that second try on 47 minutes. Kind of like the first 5-6 minutes they were okay, and then they were just, yeah, unfortunate. But there you go. I mean, Leinster's just got huge depth. I mean, look at all these guys who play for Leinster, who've played for Ireland, right? You got Devon Toner in that squad. You got Cronin in that squad. Ross Byrne, not even in the squad at the moment. So you got Deegan. Like, you got heaps of Irish internationals. They've just got crazy depth. So, yep. But I mean, still, you don't really want to be shipping 60 points at home. Run meters 298 to 656. Benetton only have 34% possession and 44% territory. They make 180 tackles compared to 85. 85% as well, which is actually surprisingly good. I mean, not good, but it's okay. But then again, it's a bit of a false stat when the other teams are getting clean breaks and kind of going straight through. Migiato, the Lucy, had 21 out of 23 tackles, which is good. I think he's only quite a young man, so that's a good effort from him, albeit in a team that shipped 60. Both the O'Briens for Leinster had 90-plus run meters, had a couple of clean breaks and beat 5 and 6 defenders respectively. So, yeah, I mean, Tommy O'Brien's tackle on Rhino Smith at one point was a bit of kind of indication of the desperation for the Leinster guys. You know, they just wouldn't let anything go. So, yeah, Leinster are 10 and 2, 10 wins, 2 losses, first place. Benetton 4 wins, 7 losses, and a draw, down in 11th for the moment. The next one, Scarlets in Glasgow. I watched the majority. I missed like the last 5 minutes because it just wasn't on the broadcast. I've contacted them. They told me it's ready to go. But I want to get this video done before the sun goes down. So I'll watch the final bit of it later. I mean, speaking of mauls, in the last game, Glasgow started the game well with a maul try through Matthews. Pretty quick stuff. 7-0 lead. Scarlets weren't opting for threes, but they couldn't score. And Glasgow extended the lead to 10 points on like 21 minutes. It was all down the Scarlets' end. And it was looking like it might be a long day at the office, but that's the end of the scoring for Glasgow, which is kind of unusual. Scarlets kind of got things on the move before half-time, a line-out move. Steph Evans with a great run. I mean, he was class in this game, so he gets over the line before half-time, and then they immediately strike second, on the other side of half-time, in the second half, right? Williams. Which Williams was it? I forget. It's two. I mean, look at the names on this board. Williams, Davis, Evans. Sorry, Welsh fans. I watch too much rugby and sometimes the first names escape me. But yeah, either side of half-time, Scarlets just looked like a different team, eh? I mean, Glasgow were denied a try with Ryan Wilson kind of a blocking arm, a bit of obstruction. That one gets denied, and then down the other end, Scarlets get their next try through Gareth Davis. It was kind of a 14-point swing, that one. I think that's probably what did it. Callum Mahoney got one as well. I mean, Ollie Smith looked to have maybe hold him up, but they still gave that one, so 28 points to 10. He tried to hold him up, but I think that one, from memory, was clear enough. There was another one I watched in the Premiership which looked a bit more dodgy, but yeah. And then Combe got one in 73 minutes, so 35-10. Actually, it's a pretty bloody good win for the Scarlets, man. Nice bonus point win. Good turnaround. Steph Evans, like I mentioned, looked class. And that 14-point turnaround is kind of a key one, if you can call it that. You know what I mean. Run meters 451 to 384. Clean breaks 5-1, both in favour of the Scarlets. They make 148 tackles. Glasgow 165, so that's kind of close. Steph Evans, a try assist, 61 run meters, 2 clean breaks, 3 defenders beaten. Class. Bergen, 17 from 17 tackles is a solid shift for a front rower. But yeah, Glasgow are now 8 and 4. They're still in 4th, so they're looking all right. And Scarlets are 4 and 5, so they are still in 12th with a negative record overall. But that's at least one game back to getting into positive territory. The last two ones I haven't seen in full. Munster gave the Dragons an absolute hiding. I've seen the highlights and they weren't pretty if you're a Dragons fan, but there were certainly some nice ones to see from Munster. Craig Casey gets a couple of tries. One where he just does a beautiful wee snipe, which is kind of what you want to see from him, along with one where he just burrows over. Dragons opted for a penalty to make it 7-3, and that's about as good as it got because there was nothing else really going on. I mean, Klotzer got a couple of tries. You know, when he's getting 2 tries on the board, that Munster's having a good day at the office. O'Donoghue was just rampaging. That guy is, I mean, you guys, again, have got so many good Lucies in Ireland, but how good was that guy? Zebre got one of the easiest ones of his career where they just tapped a quick penalty and no one was ready for it, so he virtually just walked over. That's one that, like, my dad always looks at easy tries and says to me, you could have scored that, son. I think I could look at Dad, who's like 70, how old is that, 73? He could have scored that one, 72. But yeah, even my old 73-year-old man could have scored that one if he'd caught the ball. Yeah, but quick thinker to take the tap. Chris Farrell got one, Daly got one, Hodner got one at the end, so man, it was like a training run by the end, wasn't it? Brutal stuff at home from the Munster men. 64% possession, 53% territory, 11 clean breaks to 1. Like, it's not many times you get past double figures, but yeah, 33 defenders beaten to 8, and Munster tackle at 92%, so they just were allowing nothing. Yeah, what can I say? Haley, 3 try assists, 92 run meters, a clean break, and 5 defenders beaten. Solid shift. Clotter, 76 run meters, 2 clean breaks, and 1 defender beaten. Have I ever seen that man make 2 clean breaks and that many run meters a game? Probably not. The flanker for the Dragons, what's his name? Keddy. 16 from 16 tackles is a bright spot on an otherwise pretty poor shift. The Dragons are 1 win, 8 losses, and a draw, down in 10th. Munster are up in 3rd with an 8-3 record. The last one was the Ospreys and Zebre, and this has got to be the closest game on the board, right? 27-22. Maybe I should have watched this one. Close game between the Ospreys and Zebre. I would have thought the Ospreys would have done Zebre by a bit more than that, but I suppose Zebre hasn't lost too many players to the Italian team. I don't know how many Ospreys have lost. I'd be curious to see which side has kind of lost more players. I've seen the highlights. It didn't start very well because Ospreys kicked it off and Zebre just knocked it straight on, cold, like, you know, professional rugby players should be able to catch a rugby ball like that. Everybody makes mistakes. We're all human. But, yeah, exchange of penalties. Ends up with Zebre in front, 6 points to 3 before the first try. It's an Ospreys maul try to Parry. On like 32 minutes. So they go in front, 10-6. And Morgan Morris seems to be a bit of a unit. I have liked seeing him play when I have seen him play. He really bursts over the line to extend his side's lead. Though you got to love Liam Mitchell's wee dummy. It was, pretty well sold. Sold the Ospreys defence down the river in the only try of the game for Zebre. They kicked a lot of penalties, but Zebre had a yellow card. Griffiths got a try. They said it could have been a penalty try, but they didn't. But it didn't matter because Ospreys went and scored anyway. So 27-19. Zebre kick a penalty to at least get a bit closer, but that's it. Yeah, nothing else doing. Run meters 405 to 507. Zebre with more. Clean breaks 5-1. Zebre with more. Surprising. I haven't seen, like, they only had 3 minutes of highlights really, so I'm a wee bit in the dark for that one. I might have to go back and watch it. Zebre make more tackles, 160 to 111. Morgan Morris, 54 run meters and 2 defenders beaten. He's solid. The right winger, I'm pretty sure he's Fijian. Tuvaka has 128 run meters and 7 defenders beaten. He's a proper unit. And he has a good carry before they get Liam Mitchell's try. But, anyway. Zebre are none from 9, so still winless. They are at the bottom of the log, and 7-5 is the Ospreys record. They are in 6th. So their overall record is not too bad, but I feel like they're not going to be too chuffed with that result, even if it's a win. But anyway, I'm going to head off. You guys take care of yourselves. Let me know your thoughts on the games at the weekend, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.